Yeah, we won't make that awkward. We'll say it's a skin covered shirt, color
Yes,
shirt.
it is. That's exactly it.
Hey, man, what's going on? Well, I guess we'll jump into it, man. Like I said, I was looking through the different notes from the scrimmage one and scrimmage two, and still a lot of drops, man. The second scrimmage was better. The receivers seemed to have it. What's weird is all the quarterbacks. It's like we have six quarterbacks, but Saban's like, forced me to play you, forced me to put you out there. Ty Simpson to me is a third. When you look at the way he looks receivers down, he played division, I think 4 or 5 ball. And Buckner coming in so late, he's kind of behind, kind of like Coker did that one year. Coker was at Bama the
Yeah.
first year before he played, and then you know Dylan Lonergan, he's not going to play because he's a freshman, and freshmen make big mistakes.
Yeah, especially yeah, that you'll definitely be staring down receivers as a freshman. Barnett, or no, not Barnett, Burkhardt, the one that came from Notre Dame. I'm hoping that next year is his year to blossom, just because it's his OC. But he could just be a bit behind the power curve at Alabama and how adjusting. Or Milrow just could have pulled a Jalen Hurts and knowing that he has to be two dimensional and has been working on his arm all season or off season. So I mean,
You're right. The thing with me, the way I look at it is, and everything you read, I know Saban keeps saying, well, we're not going to know until, maybe in the middle of the season. No, the coaching staff knows who they're going to play against Tennessee, which is going to be Milrow. It's
oh,
Milrow's job to
100%.
lose. We
It's
saw Milrow versus A&M. He had 3 TDs. Yes, he struggled with some fumbles, but those are, jitters and early mistakes. But you got to think Milrow over all the other guys has been working with a quarterbacks coach. His quarterbacks coach said, "Oh no, he's improved light years and big strides from what he was the year before." And he's been dragging Alabama receivers with him to train. At this point, if the offensive line, because we've been bad for 2 years, and we have to be honest about it, and I don't see massive
very
improvements.
simple. Yes.
If they bust a play, you've got to have somebody quick enough to make 5 or 10 yards or 20 out of it. You can't be like, well, we'll take a 15-yard loss.
No, especially with how fast the edges are in the defenses in the West. You have to have somebody that's going to get mobile and get out there. I mean, if they know that you're a straight pocket passer, they're going to light you up in that pocket. And so that's why I was hoping him or the Notre Dame boy. He has some wheels. I mean, he really does. But he could just be a solid number two at Alabama. So
Yeah, like I said, when you think the mobile effect and being able to move a guy around in the shotgun, because if it's like it was last year, he's not going to have 3.5 seconds or even 3 seconds to really look around and scan the
no,
field for his second and
he's,
third progression.
he's getting last year was like 2-1. That was it.
Oh, big time. If right now, if I'm having just everything I've read and looked at, from what I'm seeing it's Milrow, Buckner, and Lonergan.
Yes. And that thing is, like with Simpson, he has attributes. He really does. It's just learning the playbook, not staring people down, and I guess just becoming a better passer. But like body wise, if you look at him, he is like a prototypical quarterback.
Yeah, and if you look at his body, still he's really thick, so he can take a hit, he can take a run, he can do all these things. But the thing I think is fans that we're going to have to do is, because we've been spoiled the last 5 or 6 years with the quarterbacks we've had, we have to really tamper our expectations and say, hey, it may be a Coker like year where he has to advance slowly, but he'll get there. We just need the defense to do what they got to do, and wide receivers, for the love of God, catch the ball when it hits you in the chest. You have to help your quarterback out. You can't just be like,
Yeah.
well, we'll drop a pass and in 3rd and 15 he'll pull a mirror. No, dude, you got to do. And I think because of the drops, I do think we're going to see a lot more tight end play from Nyblack and CJ and some of those other guys, because in all the scrimmages they've caught 98% of every pass thrown their way in every situation.
And that's great numbers. But I mean, you can do a lot with two tight end sets, but it also, I'm not going to say takes away the deep threat. It could be a good thing. I mean, that was kind of '09, '08, 11, 12ish was a lot of tight end and the play action deep threats. But with you have more tight ends in it, I mean, you could have that single back and try to set the run game up too. So
Oh yeah, and like I said, I think you're going to see. I mean, I'm brain farting here. The JUCO receiver that we got that was highly touted. I think him and I think Shaz Preston are going to emerge this year. I hope they do. Um, I think that if I say his name right, his last name Benson. I think he's the JUCO receiver. I'm sorry, I'm so tired tonight, but I think he's going to have to really emerge. We've got to have a home run threat because if we can't do anything but run and a few like dink and dunk to tight ends, if you don't have a tight end like that kid out of Georgia, you need a receiver. Like you got a bunch of receivers, 4 stars. Somebody's got to step up and emerge. You can't tell me that
you have to
all
keep,
those guys are a bust.
yeah, you have to keep the safeties deep. You have to at least keep one honest. If not, you know that we're going to be everything's 15 yards or under. They're going to start sneaking up. I mean, and who wouldn't? I mean, why would you want to play that far back? We have no deep threats, and we're running 10-yard hitches or slants across the middle. I mean, and you're just playing and we're playing into the defense's favor. So yeah, I mean, somebody's got to step up, and there is that in my mind. There somebody's on that team has the talent and has everything to do it, and it's not the quarterback's fault when he's getting it within 2 yards of you or is touching your hands and you're dropping it. Man, that's on you. Make a play. This is big time
Yeah,
football. Make big time plays.
you came there to be the man. You came there to make a statement. So do it. Like step up. Yeah, and a lot of these guys too. They're like, oh, they're so young. No, most of these guys, this is their sophomore and some of them junior year. Like you got to do something, bud. Like
Well, that even being said, I get that you're a freshman, but if Saban puts you on the field as a freshman, he believes you're good enough. I mean, Julio, freshman. I believe Devontae played as a freshman. I mean, he's not afraid to put freshmen on the field if you're going to make a play.
Amari Cooper. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the list goes on and on and on. Waddle and all these other guys.
Yeah.
Devonta Smith and yeah, the list goes on and on forever. And that's I think that's the biggest storyline for I think Bama for the going into the season. But even more than that, we're not alone in this deal. Ohio State's there. Even Tennessee's there. I know everybody's already penciled Tennessee into winning the East. But
I
they
don't
got a lot
want
of question marks too.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say they have a 18 to 23% chance to win the East. I'll give them that.
And, until Georgia goes down, is to me is Georgia's at this point. And
Yeah.
the West is a toss up. And I talked to a friend of mine tonight. He's a big Auburn fan, and he says
Yeah.
that they have a shot at winning it. Because a Hugh Freeze and some of the quarterbacks they brought in and different things. So, and the West is the Wild West. It's open for
Yeah.
anybody.
Yes. Yeah. And Freeze, and to give him credit too, Freeze has done a great job with the transfer portal. He is a good, prolific-minded offensive coach. If you can take away him calling hookers and stuff on school lines, I mean, he's pretty good.
Well,
But
we all. I mean, sometimes you have too many Bartles and James in you, and you just like, well, I got a school cell phone. Nobody's going to check it. So, and you're like, my old lady, she's gained a little bit of weight. And, I just sex somebody.
yes.
No, it's he's lucky to be back in D1 after the baggage he incurred on some of that stuff.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. And so that being said, if he was allowed, hopefully in a few years, Pruitt's allowed back, and I mean that's would be a great DC. But it's either here nor there. But yeah, Freeze is going to do something. He's going to rattle some cages. I think at least 9 wins for them down there this year. I think he's going to shock some people.
Oh yeah, I think he's definitely going to be good. Do I think he's the caliber of like Davo Sweeney and some other guys? Probably not. But he's a guy like Lane Kiffin who's going to shake things up. He's going to make your butthole get tight because it's not a gimme game. You're going to have to like, okay, we got to, and he's going to throw some crazy stuff out there. And then that goes back to Alabama. This offensive coordinator that, frankly, I thought it was, when we hired him, it was punting on third down. But, a lot of people are high on this guy, and it's not just, Saban, it's a lot of other guys. And so this is his opportunity to see what he can do. Can he develop one of these 6 quarterbacks,
It just kind of reminded me of the McElwain and Nussmeier errors, which is nothing wrong. I mean, we had a Heisman Trophy winner, and so it was Ingram. But I mean, they we still won natties. So I mean, if we go back to that type, then that's fine too. But yeah, I'm just kind of interested to see if it's going to be a mixture between a Kiffin offense and his offense. So I know Saban wants to keep you spread across the field right now, or at least that's how I feel. So yeah, I'm kind of interested to see how it goes.
Yeah, I am too. I think it's gonna be interesting. Some guys I was really excited about in some of these scrimmages. Everybody has been singing the praises of Caleb Downs, that defensive back out of California, true freshman. He's jumped in front of multiple routes. I mean, he stopped drives single-handedly. I know he's been training with the new coach, Clinton Dix, and Clinton Dix has been absolutely over the moon about the guy. The guy, he's got it. As an 18-year-old kid, he has got the it factor. Um, and he's probably going to be day one starter from everything we're seeing. Also, the transfer, Trez Marshall, the linebacker from Georgia, he's had a fumble and a sack in every game. And then last scrimmage, he had a pick six. They say he is absolutely disruptive in the middle of that field.
Well, wasn't he this plagued by injuries at Georgia?
He was plagued by injuries, yeah, and he got beat out by some other cats. But he got a lot of playing time. He just wasn't a starter. But yeah, he was a little injury riddled, so hopefully Bama can keep him healthy. Another guy that everybody needs to watch out for, I think he could be potentially second string running back, definitely third. He will see a lot of time, is Jam Miller. He's been busting 60 and 80-yard TD runs every single scrimmage. Now,
Nice.
I don't know if he's that good or our defensive line is that bad. I would assume he's that good, though.
Yeah, I think that good, and it's there's not just a one tailback system; it's a tailback back committee under Saban. So he's going to get the ball. He's at some point in time he's going to get the chance to prove himself.
I do agree. Two other guys that are popping up in my scrimmage notes I'm looking through. Benson, the JUCO kid, has been doing amazing. They said he's kind of the leader. He's getting most of the balls, making the acrobatic catches, getting yards after touch. The other guy that everybody's been talking about is Chaz Preston. And kind of the third dark horse in there is Kendrick Law. They say he's really coming along. They say don't sleep on the guy. Like I said, I know that I'm kind of a Debbie Downer when it comes to a lot of that stuff because I saw what they had last year and I saw that they made a lot of mistakes and they dropped a lot of balls and it was kind of bleeding into the spring. But I'll tell you one thing though, if that does not change throughout this year, we will have a new wide receivers coach next year. I can guarantee you that.
100%. There's way too much talent there, and it's just not really developing. It's almost like a Pete Golding with the defense. It's just staying the same. Like it's not going back. It's not going forward. I mean, I completely agree. But more than that, man, I just want our offensive line to be solid. Not the hit or miss games, not the right side good and the left side bad. I mean, that's a big worry of mine too.
Yeah, I think we've missed, and I'm just gonna be honest. I think in recruiting that we've missed the last 2 years on some linemen, and when you've got guys, there's one of the guys I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He's like a fifth year guy. When you've got fifth year guys, it's a little concerning. That nobody has stepped up and really filled those holes. Some of the guys we missed in recruiting, maybe they weren't as good as we thought they were. It's a point of concern because for 2 years we've been very porous, and we've even been porous against bad teams that we should have easily dominated. And I think if we see a porous team, they could definitely improve. But if we see them porous against Middle Tennessee, then Texas, they better get ready to run a lot of shotgun.
Well, yes, yeah, at least because you're buying Milrow or whoever a little bit more time, or at least a second more with that shotgun. So
I agree, and you're going to have. Now, I will say one thing that was very interesting. I've been reading a lot of notes on Amari Niblack, and they said he always had it as far as the catching side of the tight end position, but they say he's a monster at blocking now because he didn't have that the first year, so he didn't see the field a whole lot. I do think we will see more. We're going to see more run-based stuff. I don't think it's going to be like this. Well, we've got a Heisman winner. Bill O'Brien kind of garbage. Well, I guess we'll just throw every down and, barely even run. I understand our offensive line was not great. I get that whole deal. But I think going into this next recruiting cycle, that's going to have to be a big thing.
yes.
Another thing that's concerning is, is negative recruiting hitting Saban? Because I mean, he's up there. He's not going to be a Joe Paterno. He's not going to be there forever. I don't think he coaches 3 more years.
I think it is kind of getting to him, and is coaching against him. But then at the end of the day, man, if you could even still just slide in and get one more natty out of him, then that's a recruiting factor in itself. And as we spoke about before, I mean, they're not going to pick somebody who's just. I hate saying this. They're not going to do like a Franchione or Shula again. Whoever replaces this guy is going to be a proven leader, and they're going to basically just give him a blank check. I mean, it's going to be somebody that moves from somewhere that they don't think is going to move.
I think it's going to. I think you're right. I think it'll be somebody with a pedigree, somebody who's won. To me personally, I think they're going to try to, even though he said he's not coming, I think they're going to back him up with a blank check to Dabo Swinney. And if he says no, don't be shocked if Kiffin gets the call at some point. Do not be shocked.
You know what you shouldn't be shocked about? Is Urban Meyer came and coached.
You know, the thing concerning to me about that, in all honesty, is, okay, is he going to win one and then when it gets tough, leave again? You know, because he's got a little bit of history of that, so it's concerning.
Oh, it's very repetitive.
I would rather not have that. This is me, right? If I have to gamble, yes, he is a winner, but if I'm going to have to gamble, give me a proven winner in Division II and let's see what happens.
Yes, that's where Brian Kelly came from.
Correct, and that was another thing that I was kind of shocked a little bit. And now I'm not questioning Saban. Like I said, he's a coach, makes the big money to make decisions, but if you're going to go outside the box, like really think outside the box, I was like, for the price that we paid for this offensive coordinator, we could have got 2 of the best offensive coordinators in Division II, and they're like, Or same thing on defense. But let's see how it pans out. There could be, Jeremy Pruitt ghostwriting in the background on defense. We don't know.
Oh, man, yes, and that's what I was hoping. I don't know what his sanctions were, but I just hope something comes up with him, even to be an analyst. Oh, he has to be on a staff for a year and not do anything. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, and it wouldn't shock me if he's at some position in Alabama we just don't know about, just lingering around.
Yes.
Yeah, I was hoping we'd see something on that so we could get some traction on it. That's what I wanted. We hadn't seen it yet. Now they've been in talks. Multiple things. They've seen him in Tuscaloosa, this, that, and the other. But another thing I'd like to pull out of the fire, really, I don't know why we haven't done it since. I don't understand what the holdup was. I want Bo Davis to come back to Alabama. We had some of the most dominant defensive lines in college football history and some of the best recruits under him. And how we let him get away from the Lions and go to Texas, I'll never know.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I do like Freddie Roach. I don't know. It's because he played there. Even though he played linebacker, but I do agree, man. He was a beast. I think Saban's is he just likes Roach. I mean, he came when Roach was at Mississippi State and then came to us. And, if we can get Bo Davis back, that would be beneficial.
Now, I ain't got a problem with Roach, but I need to see some improvement this year. I need to see – now, he didn't coach last year, if I'm correct, right?
No, he coached last year.
Okay. I'm going to need to see something different on that defensive line, a little bit of improvement. I'm not asking for a 180-degree turn, but we need to see something different. We got to see
pressure.
Something, yes.
Pressure, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least one solid man in the middle and one – I mean, I know we had Anderson last year, but everybody was just kind of scheming off of him, so I felt bad. He still did what he had to do, but it's not hard to coach the best lineman in the country. I mean, so
yeah, and not having Dallas Turner all year. If you could have had both those healthy all year, we could have been a terror if they could have been healthy. Both of them.
Yeah. You couldn't really scheme against them. All you could do is maybe do a draw, but then you got stuffed up the middle. So,
like I said, I don't think Tennessee is going to tell us much about any position, anywhere, or anything. I think Texas, the first half, is going to tell the tale of kind of where we're at and how far we've progressed. And I wouldn't be willing to hang my hat on any quarterback in that game that was bad or good because, if you look at years that we had Coker and different things, it took them 5 or 6 games to really get in the groove. Because, we were holding our breath those years against Arkansas like, Like, are we going to pull this off?
Oh
It
yes,
was dicey.
I definitely. I mean, and people still forget. I mean, Mac Jones when he came in against Auburn the year before he started, I thought he was just trash. I mean, absolute
He
trash, and
was looking down receivers. He
yeah,
was indecisive. Yeah. Now some of that, like I said with Milroe, we're going to see a difference because he's got all the reps. He's not getting 10 reps for every 30 reps. The other quarterbacks getting in front of him. Or like Bryce Young was getting. He's the guy. He's getting all the reps, and everything we're
yes,
seeing in practice scrimmages, he's getting all the reps.
yeah, I completely agree with you. So that's what I'm hoping, and that's why I use the whole Mac Jones analysis. Like when we saw Milroe this year, yeah, he might have looked bad, but like I said, so did Mac, and he came out and was still starting with the Patriots. I mean,
Yeah.
it, it, it you can't just judge it off 1 year. So hopefully things do progress, man. But my biggest fear is I know Kool-Aid's well, not my biggest. Another fear is Kool-Aid in the secondary. He's good. He got put on an island sometimes last year. A&M mostly, but I mean we just need everybody to step up. Linebackers step up. I think we put pressure on the quarterback that would alleviate a lot of these islands they're on when they do man. But yeah, it's as a whole, and that might have been with Pete Golding not wanting to adjust. Whatever game plan he went in on that game is what we stayed with the whole game. No halftime adjustments, no anything. So hopefully that will be better this year.
That's something that we got to see, and I do feel Kevin Steele has to adjust. Like he has to. I mean, I for the life of me will never understand what Saban saw in Pete Golden because it never got better. And like I said, I'm hoping Kevin Steele sees that and says, "Oh well, okay, halftime, let's make adjustments." But when like I said, Tennessee was a glaring example. You never saw a change ever. It was
No,
always the
we knew
same
what they were
thing.
doing. We knew who they were going to. We knew they was going to be a deep threat. And was the kid good? By all means, he
Yeah,
was amazing. But when you know who they're going to throw to, just do something, just anything.
he scored 95% of their touchdowns. One
Yes,
guy.
yes. I
Like
mean, just dedicate a safety to him. I mean, solely to him. I mean, yeah, nothing changed, and it's like we didn't do a lot of blitzes either. Our packages were just bland, almost like he got it off of Madden. Like that's where our schemes came from.
it's like he's like, well, it seemed to have worked in the first drive and the first, yeah, and it wasn't like, hey, something's wrong, we need to switch it up or try something different, or maybe the only thing that was different is he tried to get more pressure, and it's like, dude, no, send somebody back, double cover somebody, make him throw to somebody else, make him do something different. And I get it,
Yep.
Hooker was a dual threat, he was good,
Oh yeah,
but
and you have to keep people in the box, yeah, because he could roll out and take off down the field. So
we just got to see something better, a little bit more consistent play. And it, now I will say this: there's a lot of teams this year that are going to be able to score in the SEC. There just are. There's going to be a
yeah.
lot of scoring, but you got to be able to come up with a few crucial stops. I mean, when you score 49 points or 42 points, you got to be able to win a game.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Sometimes I will say we would score 35 points and we would still lose the game. Like that's tough to call it on the offense, man. That really is. It's
Well, people would talk mess, and I was one of the biggest haters of Bill O'Brien, and I get it. I can't stand Bill O'Brien. I don't like his face. I don't like the offense he runs. I don't like his horrible-looking khaki pants with the stains on the front. I don't like anything about the dude. I don't like anything about the dude. But everybody gave him too much blame. It's like, no, you got Fatty McFatterson back there, frat boy, Golden, that doesn't change anything. Anything. Doesn't change coverages.
that curly gray hair coming out of the top of that visor.
I said, bro, it ain't working. Yeah, and I will say this. O'Brien put up enough points for us to win every game. He did. But the defense, the games that we lost, they couldn't stop a fart in the wind. It was just like, man, like you guys, all these crucial downs, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 10, they couldn't stop anything.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And so yeah, that's another aspect or something that has to be addressed. And so I mean, I'm sure we're not harping on anything that Saban hasn't harped on. Just as an overall, man, if the offensive line could get at least the 3 seconds, maybe a little bit more, one receiver, just want to step it up. Everybody else can do hitches and slants, and we just need one deep receiver And like I said, Cooley's probably our lockdown corner or go-to guy. But we just need some D-line to somebody just to come up. I mean, just somebody to put pressure on that quarterback.
Just to be disruptive. We ain't even got to sack him. Just throw him off his game plan. Switch it from
make him move.
His A read to the B read.
Yeah, I mean, if you make him start moving, all his reads are gone. If he sits back in that pocket and doesn't have to roll around, then he doesn't have anything to worry about.
Instead of throwing the Y, X going to give it to you. Make him throw the X. You know.
The DMX reference, dude. And also the Rusty Tip song.
I was at work the other day, and I was sitting there, and there's a guy. He's older. He looks really, really old, but he's not. He's only like 40, but he looks like 60. And he's a civilian now, and he was like, "What's going on, Webb?" And I was like, "X gonna give it to you." X. He started laughing.
That was good stuff, man. But well, dude, let's try to recap another one next week and see how it goes.
Definitely, man. I'm gonna be on the road for this the Bama game. If I'm at a hotel and get to watch it, then we'll try to do a quick overview of the game, our analysis, and all that good stuff. But I'll be on the road, but I should be at the hotel by that point. So if I can finish out and watch the game, we'll do a quick analysis.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
All right, man. Have a good one, and tell Susan I love her.
I will. All right, brother. Bye.
All right, bye.